today I would like to talk about firearms trafficking to Mexico specifically. ATF's primary mission is to reduce the violent crime and combat firearms trafficking by cartels and terrorist organizations. While our mission is clear and concise, it is also immense and dangerous. ATF partners with the U.S. Attorney's Office, Homeland Security Investigations, CBP, and our state and local law enforcement agencies to prevent Mexican cartels and terrorist organizations from Mexico acquiring illegal firearms whose criminal activities put American lives in danger. Cartels rely on specific firearms to facilitate, expand, and protect their criminal enterprise. Cartels have infiltrated the United States and through the southern border are operating in all major states and cities. These cartels have established and expanded their networks to carry out their illicit activities to include fentanyl trafficking and human smuggling as well. These cartels and terrorist organizations are often responsible for the most heinous, violent crimes affecting communities and neighborhoods in the United States. Under President Trump and Attorney General Bondi's leadership, ATF has prevented nearly 9,700 firearms from falling into the hands of dangerous criminals or terrorists. In fiscal year to date, ATF has initiated over almost 16,000 violent crime cases and seized over 18,000 firearms, 13,000 firearms parts and accessories, and over 1 million rounds of ammunition and 13,000 assorted explosives. The ATF Atlanta Field Division, along with HSI, have targeted these trafficking organizations and cartels. As you see here to my left and to my right are a sample of the firearms which have been seized through these investigations here in Atlanta. Increasingly, the weapons of choice of these cartels seek to co-acquire are such as the Ohio Ordnance M2 50 caliber, also known as the Modus, which is right in front of me. The FN M240 7.6 caliber, which are to my right. The FN M249 5.6 caliber, which are to my left. And assorted variants of AK-47s and 74s and handguns, which you see laying on the table. These represent a sample of an ongoing investigation that we have going on right now, currently. So I will not be able to get into specifics of the investigation as there's more to come on that at a later date. But currently in this investigation, we've seized over 200 firearms, have been interdicted or seized by ATF, HSI, and our state and local partners across the nation. Also seized during these investigations are large quantities of methamphetamine, which we seized 24 kilos, as well as 4 kilograms of fentanyl and numerous amounts of cash.
The U.S. government will not tolerate the illegal export of firearms. These are not firearms that are possessed lawfully by United States citizens, that are protected by our rights. These are firearms that are being sought by cartels in order to advance their violence and power across the border and advance their criminal enterprises. These are simply a sample of the firearms that we have identified and seized in the course of this investigation, on top of the fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and cash that ultimately these organizations are moving through illicit channels and have been attempting to push across the southwest border. We've made tremendous strides securing the southwest border. The cartels are feeling the pinch of the interagency operations that are impacting their day-to-day, and we're going out and making a difference. For an example of the individuals that are trying to perpetrate this In this one investigation alone that we are highlighting some examples of, we have arrested 9 illegal aliens that had fraudulently obtained documents in the United States that they were attempting or utilizing to secure firearms and ultimately try to push them down to the southwest border and into Mexico. These are not individuals coming into the United States attempting to move their families here and peacefully live. These are criminals that are trying to take advantage of the United States and secure weapons that they will utilize in order to advance violence south of the border or wherever their criminal activity subsides.
So these weapons are commercially made available that anybody can purchase these weapons here. So these aren't military weapons. They are still at our federal firearms licensees, and anybody can purchase them if they are legal. It's over $250,000 worth of firearms that were seized from this particular organization. Obviously, there are those who will utilize the laws and freedoms here in the U.S. to support illegal activities in other countries, to include Mexico in this particular instance. And so utilizing those same resources and individuals, yes, while drugs may be coming into this country, but to support, like Zach Schrank said, to support their ongoing criminality there and control, they need firearms, they need powerful weapons. These are, outside of the hand pistols, most of these rifles are readily converted over to fully automatic, and it helps them when they go to war against other cartels and or law enforcement in Mexico, and obviously presents a danger to the citizens in those communities.
Yeah, I think we have all seen the tremendous impact that weapons and violence have played south of our borders in Mexico, that are driven by cartels, that are driven by greed, and are expressed in violence. And while we do have individuals coming into the United States, they are seeking to take advantage of the rights and freedoms that we enjoy. And we are a nation that supports our Second Amendment and makes firearms available to lawful citizens that use them for lawful purposes. And they are seeking to come here, take advantage of our freedoms, and obtain tools that then subsequently are used for violent purposes to enact their power south of the border and put together the organizations that create and peddle the poisons that work their way into our communities and have such devastating impacts on the health of our citizens.